What's up? It's me, your pal, Peace Bud. Today I would like to introduce to you a peaceful fuel for your automobile. It's a fuel that can be produced abundantly here in America. It could end all the wars for oil. It's a fuel that you could even brew at home as a hobbyist. What's this amazing fuel that the oil companies don't want you to know about? It's ethyl alcohol, or better known as ethanol fuel. Ethanol can be made from your yard debris, sticks, wood chips, or even newspaper. But the ideal plant for ethanol is one in high sugar content, with an internal cellulose structure of dense strands of fibers. Gas companies are already using ethanol made from corn grown in the Midwest. But then what are we gonna eat? By converting food to fuel, we risk starving ourselves by raising the cost of the food we eat for the sake of feeding our automobiles. America is a nation of resources, and each region grows different types of vegetation, but not all environments can support the same types of crops. That is why we need to use my friend the cannabis plant. Unlike other plants that farmers are promising to grow for ethanol fuel, the cannabis plant is the ideal plant to grow in nearly any environment. One cannabis plant produces 50 to 100% more biomass needed for ethanol than a corn plant, and it's easy on the soil, unlike corn, which depletes the soil of nutrients, requiring all kinds of special fertilizers, leaving the soil even more depleted of nutrients, requiring even more fertilizer, whereas the cannabis plant's root system can be left in the soil, as it will break down and replenish the soil with nutrients for the next growing year. So why not make it easy and grow a crop humans have used for centuries for various technological needs? Ethyl alcohol is the key to a future of peace and renewable energy for the planet's automobile growth. A fuel economy based on ethanol creates industries that would empower the farmer, and their yield would support the local community for food and fuel. Ethanol is made by first taking your fresh harvested vegetation and grinding it into a fine pulp. Then you boil it in a large pressure cooker. After you've boiled it into goo, you then transport your boiled mush to your fermentation tank, a large, airtight contraption in which you'll mix your mush with yeast, creating a fermentation process. The byproducts of fermentation is alcohol and carbon dioxide. The carbon dioxide can be harmlessly released into the air as plants and trees can naturally process it back into oxygen. The last part of this process is to take fluids from your fermentation tank to your distillery, where the remaining water will be separated from the ethyl alcohol. The alcohol is boiled off and then cooled to recondense into a pure ethyl alcohol fuel. You see, an ethanol-based fuel economy would empower everyone to potentially brew their own fuel, just as a hobbyist brews their own beer. But big oil companies don't want you to know any of this. During the Industrial Revolution, the big oil, timber, and chemical investors worked real hard to demonize the cannabis plant by launching huge propaganda campaigns that targeted a dangerous plant called marijuana. They created so much fear and hysteria that the government declared all strains of the cannabis plant as being illegal, thus removing the main competitor of the oil, timber, and chemical industries to make their fortune through planetary destruction. But now we can see how a fuel economy with the oil industry is one that harvests death and all the miseries of war and shadow, while an economy based on growing cannabis for fuel is one of life and creation. So join me in the new revolution of the 21st century. Legalize cannabis and create a new era of peace, prosperity, and renewable energy.